Hey, welcome back. So today we are diving into a super practical topic, how to rent your first apartment. Or at least that was the plan. You're going to want to stick with me on this one because this explainer took a very unexpected turn that actually tells you a lot about how we do things here.
We got a request to break down the process of renting for the first time, and we thought, yes, perfect. I mean, it's such a huge milestone, right? So a clear step-by-step guide based on solid sources felt like exactly the kind of useful explainer we love to put together for you. And it really is a fantastic topic. We were already picturing it, slides on how to find listings, what to look for in a lease, how to budget for it. Just a straightforward, super helpful guide. But as you're about to see, our process took us somewhere completely different.
Okay, so let's get into how this all works. As you know, our first and honestly our most important step is always to go straight to the source material. We don't guess, we don't invent things, we just explain what's actually there. This right here, this is our core rule. It's our promise to you. Everything you see and hear from us comes directly from the sources we're given. No more, no less. It's what keeps these explainers focused and, frankly, trustworthy. So our process is pretty simple on paper. We get an idea, we dig into the sources, and then we build the explainer. But this time, step 2, scrutinizing the sources, is where the story gets a little weird. When we went looking for that step-by-step rental guide, we found, something else entirely.
We were digging through all the provided material, searching for keywords like rent, apartment, lease, anything that could help us build out that guide. And we did find a couple of mentions, but yeah, they were not at all what we were expecting.
So here it is, the big question. What did the information actually say? What could we possibly pull from these sources to help out a first-time renter?
All right, so the first mention we found was this. It's talking about renting, sure, but from the investor's point of view, not the renter's. It's part of a whole discussion on building wealth. I mean, it's useful information for sure, just not if you're the one trying to sign the lease. And this was the second and only other mention. It was just a random hypothetical example of a conflict used in the same breath as arguing over who ate the last cookie. Again, the word rent is there, but there is zero practical advice. And that was it. No, seriously, 2 very brief, totally out of context mentions. There was no guide to finding an apartment, no tips on reading a lease, no advice on security deposits. The key information we needed to build the explainer, it just wasn't in there. So does that mean the sources were bad? Not at all. It just meant our topic idea was a total mismatch for the information we actually had. And what we did have, it turned out to be incredibly valuable.
This is where we had to pivot. We realized we absolutely could not build an explainer on renting. But what we could do was show you what the sources were packed with, these super detailed guides on other, equally important life skills.
For instance, the material had tons of actionable information on how to get hired for a job. It also had this really clear, simple guide to filing your taxes, and a fantastic intro to investing in index funds. These weren't just passing mentions. This was the real heart of the sources.
So, you see, we could create some amazing explainers on any of these topics, like practical steps for your job hunt, or demystifying the whole tax process, or even walking you through your very first investment. The value was absolutely there. It was just, filed under a different name.
And this whole thing really brings us back to our central promise to you. It's all about being transparent and having integrity in what we do. We came into this looking for a detailed roadmap, but the sources only gave us a couple of scattered breadcrumbs pointing in a totally different direction. Now, we could have tried to stretch those 2 little quotes into a full explainer, but that just wouldn't be honest, and it definitely wouldn't be helpful to you.
And this is the bottom line for us. Our job is to be a clear window into the source material, not a filter that creates content that just isn't there. It's a commitment we take really seriously, and it's the foundation of everything we do. So, we'll leave you with this to chew on. In a world with just an endless stream of content, with headlines promising all the answers, how often do we actually stop and check the source? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me.